everyone. Welcome back to Parashah Pantry. This week we will study Parashat Toldot, which comes from Genesis chapter 25, verse 19. And this is a rather dramatic story about our matriarchs and patriarchs. It's a little challenging to wrap our head around as well. So Toldot means generations. And it is very important in the book of Genesis that we establish who the mothers and fathers of the Jewish people are. And in this portion, we think about Isaac and Rebekah, who want desperately to have children and finally become pregnant with twins. We might think this is a really wonderful thing, which it is, but for Rebekah, it is very challenging as we are told that these twins struggle in Rebekah's womb. They struggle so much that it pains her. And she cries out to God and she says, "Why do I exist? What is the purpose of all of this pain?" And God answers her and he says that two nations are in her womb. Two separate peoples are going to come forth from her. One shall be mightier than the other. And the interesting thing that God says is that the older shall serve the younger, which was not the common thing in the biblical patriarchy. So sure enough, Esau was born first and Jacob shortly after. So shortly after we hear it was Jacob was holding on to Esau's heel as they were born, and that's why Jacob means heel. So these children were struggling so much for status and for strength and power. So Rebekah, as these two children grow up, holds on to this prophecy. And I can imagine that it still pains and challenging her. Let's just say that she holds on to a truth, perhaps that she cannot share. And what is the secret? That the younger one will come to be the leader, which I mentioned is not so common. So as a mother, I cannot imagine what this would feel like to understand this truth or prophecy that one of your children is going to be mightier or stronger than another. And I think this disturbs Rebekah too. So she comes up with a plan that Jacob will receive the blessing of the firstborn instead of Esau. And this portion really challenges us because we might say, why was Rebekah so tricky? Why did Jacob go along with this plan to trick Isaac, their father, and Esau, his brother? But I actually think that Rebekah is a justice hero. Why? I think Rebekah helped to switch the blessing because she, as the mother of the Jewish people, knew that each of us deserve a chance. Each of us deserve an equal destiny. Some of us are born into wealth and power, perhaps more blessing, and some of us are not. And Rebekah, as a justice seeker, knew that everyone deserves an equal chance at life. So instead of being mad at Rebekah and Jacob for being so tricky, I actually applaud them for asking the question, why is it that one shall be mightier than the next? Why is it not that all of us can receive blessing? So I will challenge us to be like Rebekah and Jacob, to seek justice and to seek equality and opportunity for all. So may we carry this message with us into Shabbat, and may this be our blessing as well. So today, I thought that we would make a lentil soup. Usually this portion reminds us of a stew because that is what Isaac preferred for his children to make for him. And it is also part of the trick was that Jacob made a stew for Isaac that Isaac thought came from Esau. So we're going to make a vegetarian stew, which means that anyone will be able to eat it, not just those of us who eat meat. And I chose my favorite lentil soup recipe, which comes from one of my favorite chefs, Ina Garten. So I am going to post the recipe for you to follow along, and I will share a few pictures of our lentil soup as well. So I hope you enjoyed this extra indulgent Torah lesson, and you will also enjoy the lentil soup as well. Shabbat Shalom.
לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey.